1,500 podcasts live for 6 years straight. What we've learned and why we do it. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Burgio Mark Novak, episode 1589. As Mark said in the intro, we've been doing this for 7 years, over 1,500 episodes, and we wanted to answer the question we get quite often: how it started, why it started, and why you do it. And that's where Mark and I will we'll reminisce about the past and sort of run you through it and go from there. But I think normally I'd then pass to Mark, but I think I'll set up how. Well, Mark, how did it start?
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, this is you and I are the founders of this. We started this on the back of we were doing deal conversations at 7:30 every morning together on the phone. I was leaving home from like an hour and 20 away. You were getting into the office early, and we spoke about deals. And then we were like, and every single deal we spoke about, there was like an epiphany. It was like, you know what? It was like a lesson. And then we're like, why don't we just have these conversations on a podcast while we're talking, about our learnings? And then, was that where it was born? Is that how it all started?
100%. So, because from my point of view, like I've been doing real estate, say 15 years. So even 7 years ago, you're still in your first years, and you were like the biggest resource at my fingertips for learning, talking through deals, bouncing ideas off. And you're very busy during the day. So I was like, where can I take some of your time? And it was like, you drive to work every day in the car. And instead of, so I was like, well, if I can call you before everyone else starts calling you, and 7:30 is sort of that perfect timing where it could be a bit early for a lot of clients, but selfish me, I was like, I'll get in there first. And what probably meant to start be just 10, 15 minutes, let's talk through what info I need for the day, turned into we speak for the full hour, and then turned into this is some really, really good stuff. And it was the era of social media. Like you and I were thinking, let's do bigger newspaper ads. And Lisa was like, I think social media is the way to go.
Changed.
You guys should like record that and put it out. Then we're like, no, newspaper ads, Lisa. And she's like, no, just try this. So we had the setup, and just the mechanics of what you've had to go through while you're in your little bubble of that vehicle to make it work, I think is a podcast on its own. Just what you've had to do in the vehicle.
Well, it was setting up a studio in the car, which it's a moving feast, and it always changed. And there was internet connections, and there was cameras, and there was mics, and there was dropping out, there was echoing. Some of the stuff that we've endured over those like 1,500 hours of content. So it's the biggest question I'd have to say now that I've always.
That's 37 weeks. 1,500 episodes, 1,500 hours. That's 37 weeks. So that's nearly a full working year of doing the podcast.
Actually, before I go into how we come up with the comment, because that's the number one question I get asked from people is how the hell do you come up with the content? I do want to talk about the necessity for doing it as well, and we thought as agents that information was just not out there in the ether. It wasn't apart from picking up the phone and ringing the agent or jumping on a donkey website, there was no like full-on content about day-to-day transactional commercial and residential real estate. So we were like, you know what, if we put it out there for our community, on the back of indexing, searchability, Google, social media, word, we're searching words, it's going to help people.
You're exactly right, and this, especially during that time frame, and this is off the boom of, yes, social media, coaching, like your Tom Panos, your Lee Woodward, that sort of booming as well. But when we would have our conversations, it was like this info's not out there, especially in the commercial world, where, especially in those early years, wanting to absorb as much as we could, and there's just no resources to gather out there. So we're like, well, it's one of those things. If everyone always thinks someone else has done it or someone else is going to do it, and then you're like, well, no one's done it. Well, if not me, then who? And if it wasn't us, then who is going to put this out there? And we must have been one of the first type of real estate podcasts out there. And when you say, how do you come up with topics and comments, it's one of those things where you live and breathe what you do. There's always something to talk about. One thing I love about real estate, every day is different. Yes, from the outskirts, a house can look like a house, can look repetitive, but every house is different. Every story behind the client is different. And then when you go into the commercial world, where it's the business side of things, different variations of properties, like no day is the same. And there's always something that you need help with, and that's where it stemmed from. But us talking about deals, helping me, helping each other, talking through scenarios, or when a deal went to shit, it's like, what can we learn from that? I haven't had that happen before, and go through it. So each day is like the resource of content. Thank you, Lisa. Commitment is insane from Mark and the whole team every single morning. It is, yes. Most people struggle to do 2 to 3 lives a week, let alone every single morning. It's true. And it's great now seeing, before you go, Mark, to see now how we have the whole team involved. For many years, it was just you and I, 5 or 6 days a week doing it. But now having all the young agents doing it and a lot of variation with voices is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, and also we felt pretty stupid, and I think that's what everyone misses. That there was some pretty donkey periods where equipment didn't work, our brain didn't work.
Yeah,
it's I mean, there's always, and I think it's a really good lesson for people out there that and there's so much white noise out there, and I think your default is, look, it won't work, or your default is it can't work, or should it work. We just sort of didn't really care. We just knew it was the right thing to do. As much as many no's out there, and even people were like, are you serious? Do you really need to do it daily? And it was like, you know what, there's a lot of stuff that we talk about, like if we have 50 staff in our office, and we highlight the most important thing that went on that day, and we bring it into morning minutes the next day. That is so relevant. Where does anyone get that information? That was always the driver for us, and it just felt like insanity. And I think someone like Lisa, from watching from the outside in, like I often look at Lisa's relentless pursuit to her work, and I'm like, shit, that hurts. And I think watching this from the outside, when Lisa was watching me doing it every day, she was like, just don't worry. You don't have to do it every day. Take a day off on a Friday or something. I was like, no, we got to do it. It was serious. I guess that's what passion is. Like, it didn't feel like it was a job every day.
No, and I remember the early years we would talk for like a good hour, and then it's like, we got to condense this. Like, on one hand, you think, what are we going to talk about? And then the other hand, it's like, we're going too long. There's so much to talk about. But it's I had this the other day where someone was a friend I knew is starting some video content, and someone said to me, you can tell like they're just not like the same as you are on screen or talking. And it's like, well, that just comes from practice, and not like what you said,
Yeah.
not trying to make it perfect, just a delayed, or sorry, your famous saying, delayed mental blank, delayed perfection.
Gradual
Yeah,
improvement. Gradual improvement is better than delayed perfection.
yeah, spot on. And that's what the whole ethos is with this. And then you get better at speaking on camera, you get better overall. So I think that, and then you get better speaking to clients face to face. I think this is one of the hardest things to do, so it can only improve your communication skills, which will help you in your day to day. If agents out there going, well, that's not going to make you money, it's like, yes, it will. It will sharpen your communication skills. It will get your brand awareness out there. We haven't even touched on that as well. Just how these days topics are stored. People find them when they need them.
Yeah, look, and I think public speaking this is probably the greatest form of public speaking. And if you've got a level of comfort around it because of the repetition and you've done so much of this sort of stuff, it does help you in the conference room, or it does help you in the lounge room table when you're talking with clients. And as a company, we've always, as soon as you start with Novak, your camera is put in your face asking what the properties market is doing in 15 seconds, or what did you have for breakfast today on a Saturday morning, without realize that's sort of like gotten everyone really used to being directly on camera and made them super comfortable. So it's an ethos that's now built into our company. And I think it's, if you are in the public view, I think it's an important practice to do, and it's a big asset you'll take on into life. So probably the biggest takeaway is it's live, and when people are doing any form of face to camera on social media, you watch it and you redo it because you don't like it. You watch it and you redo it because you don't like it. You watch it and you redo it because you don't like it. When you're live, you don't get a choice but to just do it and just let it roll, leave it up. So I think that's a really good thing about that, the authentic content. It is live.
100%. And it really expands on the ethos of, in the 60s with real estate, it was like, show less and you'll get the call. No address, no price, just no information. You want the buyer to call you. But these days, just think about it when you're searching for a car. If it doesn't have the price and the basic info, you're on to the next. Now, when it comes to picking your real estate agent, you almost come when you're looking to sell, you almost come like a mini stalker at that time frame. You want to see who to pick and how much you can find on them. And if there's an agent with thousands of hours of content that you can watch, observe, when you meet them, there's almost that sense of rapport. And I definitely feel that, as Lisa says, the recognition we receive is huge. And that's where people they always feel like they know you. And that way it does help with client interaction as well. So I think it's just fantastic. And we all know, I think a lot of people, if anyone's ever taught someone or trained someone, you get better when you train someone. So us talking through scenarios, us talking through situations, we get better as an agent as well.
Well, that's right. The amount of people we've had on screen, and they've asked a whole bunch of learning questions about real estate, property, investment, loans, whatever it may be, and then we can go through and actually have that conversation with them. They're actually getting a pretty damn good lesson out of it as well. Real questions, real answers, and then that multiplies out as it goes out to the public when people want that information. So, thank you.
Thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you, Michael. thank you, Michael Burgio, for having the idea, for us sharing the idea, having the idea, developing the idea. Thank you to the community for watching. It's a frightening amount of viewership over that period, because people may not know it gets broadcast live, but it gets broadcast live on 8 channels at the same time. Yeah. It's on Lisa Novak's Facebook. It's on Mark Novak's Facebook. It's on Novak Properties Facebook. It's on Michael Burgio's Facebook. It's on YouTube live. It's on LinkedIn, Mark Novak live. So it's actually gotten that, and there's even more channels than that. And so the viewership per day, per week, per month, per year, per channel is just 8x, is ballistic.
Yeah,
absolutely ballistic.
I think we were in like the top 3 or something like that in some inner podcasting on just one of those channels as well. So obviously you'd love it all to be on one. You see all the views under one and you can grow, but at the end of the day, you've got to spread your wings. Everyone is absorbing content different, and you got to do the same. But yeah, thanks to
I remember we tried to count it about 3.5, 4 years ago, and it was 1 million views a month. At that time, and that was way ago. It's changed. It's doing a lot more now. So yeah, pretty incredible. Thank you so much for everyone's support, and we hope we've helped you. And if there's any questions people have, throw them at us.
Yes, that's what we loved. We got to do that a bit, push that even harder. We had a good part where we were getting requests. I get it from buddies all the time, even some that are in the industry say, hey, let's talk about this. So it's great. But yeah, another 1,500 to go and above and beyond.
All right, have a great day. Happy Australia Day for yesterday, everyone.
Happy Australia Day.
Speak soon. See ya.